normally you're practicing now. Did you rearrange this last day, or what's the story? And then I guess what's up next over these next 6 weeks?
Yeah, we cut it a little bit short just with our morning schedule, with our meetings. We just felt like the guys have done such a great job, and kind of wanted to throw them a bone and get them out of here a little bit early. I know some of these guys have travel plans and whatnot, so just really pleased with the effort, the energy, the focus, especially, going into the last day. You always kind of worry about that as a coach, but our guys, they were ready to work today.
Chris Roth.
Hey, Matt, hope you and your family get some time away here before camp and you can enjoy that. I know some of the 6 weeks you're going to be working on your plan for training camp. Do you need to have two separate plans for camp? One if Aaron's here, one if he's not? And how do you if it's not, how do you incorporate the guys that you may have to get ready as a backup job? Because we obviously saw Jordan take the bulk of reps here during the offseason stuff.
No, we'll have one plan. We've kind of pretty much laid that out. Just going to fine-tune some things over the next few weeks, and just in terms of the logistics of our schedule and whatnot. But we've got what we feel is a pretty good blueprint in terms of how to get our guys ready to play. Obviously, it is a little bit different this year in terms of the number of preseason games, and then you compare it to last year, so you're kind of leaning back on the 2019 season. But we feel confident with what we'll have in place with the guys, and we'll look forward to getting them back July 27th.
Steve McGargy.
I was just wondering what your initial impressions were from this mini camp and OTAs of Eric Stokes. And I know when we talked to Eric this week, he was talking about just the attention he saw with Jair and trying to kind of pick his brain a little bit during the mandatory mini camp when the vets were here. Did you kind of sense that with his interactions with the older players, Kevin, Jair? Did you kind of see that, and just what your impressions were of Eric?
Yeah, I thought Eric, man, he's got an infectious personality, just great energy, and we knew that kind of coming out. Goody and his staff did a great job of scouting and finding out about the person, and he came out with rave reviews, and he's as advertised, and just really love just the detail that he puts into it. I think, again, Jerry Gray, Ryan Downer do a great job with him, but I also think that room, just the leadership of that room, when you have Jair, Kevin King, Adrian Amos, Darnell Savage, Shannon Sullivan, all those guys working together with these younger players. There's nothing better for a coach than when you go to a drill and you're watching these older vets coaching the young guys. I think that a lot of times they'll pay more attention to when their teammates are coaching them than they will the coaches at times. So just really impressed with his work ethic and who he is as a person, and just excited about his future.
Mike Spofford.
Hey, Matt, now that the offseason program, you've gone through the whole thing, where do you feel the defense is in a general sense in terms of learning Joe's system and what he's asking them to do?
Well, I think the foundation's been laid. I think our guys did a nice job of picking it up as quickly as possible. There are some similarities to what we've done in the past. I think Joe's done a nice job of incorporating like terms, so it's not a totally new system for our guys. And I think our assistant coaches have done a great job of just knowing the ins and outs and the details, and being able to convey that and communicate that to our players, because ultimately they're the ones that make the thing go, and they've got to know the details, and they've got to be able to communicate and know the adjustments in order for us to be at our best. But really excited about where it could go, but we'll find out week one. You got to go out there and earn it each and every week, and there's a long time between now and then, and a lot can happen. But I think that we've laid a great foundation for them to come back into training camp and really build upon what we've done this offseason.
Aaron Nagler.
Coach, what's your message to Jordan as he leaves for this kind of break here, and not knowing if he's coming back the starter or if he's coming back to back up the MVP?
It's the same message it's been all the time. I mean, you're only one play away, so you always have to prepare like you're the starter, and just to be very intentional about the work that you put in, to go out there with a purpose, to be mindful in the moment. Every rep for him is so critical, whether it's on air on his own or it's with us in 11-on-11 situation, and he's getting that constant coaching. And I think he's done a great job of embracing just the whole situation, embracing learning from every rep. One thing we talked about, after Tuesday's practice is, hey man, you're going to have some great days, and then you're going to have some days that aren't as great, and you got to be able to ride that wave. You're never too high, you're never too low, and just making sure that you learn from each and every rep. And I think he's done a really good job of that.
Mark Daniels.
Hey man, I kind of want to stay along that line. With Jordan, just he had exponentially more work, this past month than he probably has since he's gotten here. Just how do you think he handled it? And can you also speak to how the other quarterbacks fared that are all new to your system?
Yeah, I think, like I just talked about, I think Jordan came in with the right mindset. And, I think Luke Getsy and Hackett have done a great job just getting him prepared. And ultimately, it's going to be just how do you take, the classroom to individual to the team drills, and then, get in the opportunity to go out there in the preseason and show what he can do. But I think the other guys, in terms of just their knowledge, have really been into it. It is a little bit more difficult when you're not getting many reps, and you just got to make the most out of every opportunity when you get those. And I do think that guys have done a great job of being prepared for those moments.
Jason Wilde.
Hey, Matt, there's both good and bad going into this training camp, right? The good is you actually had an off-season program to get ready for it, and the bad is the uncertainty at quarterback. What are the challenges that the uncertainty at quarterback create for you as you get ready for camp, and how much does it help to have an off-season to get you ready for camp?
Well, I think the off-season's critical for all these players, especially the young guys, but even our veterans. We got a new defensive system going in. We got a new special team system going in. So just to learn and kind of lay the foundation for training camp. But, we're excited about a training camp. We're excited about this football team. I think the character of this team is really high. I think, the challenge is, can you recreate that magic that, we've been able to the last couple of years and become a close-knit, connected team with great player leadership. And but no, we're excited about just what the future could hold. And you just got to take it day by day in terms of everything else that's going out there, and control the things that you can control. And that's the attitude, how you prepare, and the effort that you give on a daily basis.
Mike Clemens.
Matt, by the end of last season, I thought the Buccaneers' defensive line really had some dominating performances. And the year before, the 49ers, the Chiefs came up with big plays on their defensive line to win the Super Bowl. So what are the thoughts that you and Joe have on what you can do to help Kenny on your defensive line headed into this year?
Yeah, I think anytime you have a great pass rush, it definitely it takes a lot of pressure off a lot of people. Everybody on the second level and on the third level, because you don't have to cover quite as long. But I think we've got a great scheme in place. I think our coaches do a great job of communicating what we want to get done, and we'll try to be creative in terms of try to get the matchups that we'd like to present to the guys, and how we want to attack the opponents. So we feel like we've got a lot of great players up front, not only on the interior line, but on the edges. And you can't have enough of those guys, because I think when those guys are flying off the ball and giving great effort, I think you got to be able to rotate those guys. It's hard for a player to go out there and especially in that position and give you 70 snaps or whatever it may be that are where they're flying 100 miles an hour. I think that's a little unrealistic, and that's what you want. That's the energy, that's the effort that you want from that position, because they can create a lot of havoc for an offense. So the more we can build up just the people around those guys, and the more we can rotate players, I think the better off we'll be.
Bill Huber.
Hey, Matt, this is going to come across as snarky, and I don't mean it that way, honestly. I totally
Then don't
understand
ask it,
why.
Bill.
I totally understand why Jordan took as many reps as he did. That's perfectly logical. So what's the point of having all these other quarterbacks if they're not going to actually get snaps or many snaps?
Well, I think there's so many more components than just the 11 on 11 team drills or the 7-on-7s. It's you're throwing routes on air, and as good as I'd like to think I can throw the ball, or Luke Getsy can throw the ball, you want NFL quarterbacks throwing those to the receivers, backs, whoever it may be. So you need those arms, and I'm sure, like, as we get closer to training camp, and things could become a little bit more clear for us. We potentially could make an adjustment there, but you're right. It is tough to get 4 quarterbacks the reps that they need. So that's why when they get those opportunities to go in there and play, they got to take advantage of them, and they got to be ready.
We'll do 2 more. Aaron Nagler.
Coach, after the draft, you had a very candid moment, which I, for one, greatly appreciated, when you said you never really know about your draft class, right? You look at the tape, you look at their cut-ups, whatever, but you don't really know until you see them against NFL competition. Now, obviously, you've had an off-season program, but they're still in shorts. Mm-hmm. Is it hard to temper your expectations and excitement about maybe what your rookie class could contribute until you see them in pads?
Yeah, I think, absolutely, Aaron. We're excited about them, certainly. And you get more excited when you get around them and you get to know their personality and just how they compete and the work that they put in. You couldn't ask for better guys. But ultimately, it's how it translates to the field, how it translates in those preseason games, and then making most of their opportunities. But it's our job as coaches to try to put these guys in the best position possible, and then they got to go out there and execute. But we are, excited. But again, like you said, you have to temper those expectations to some degree.
And last one, Jason Wilde.
Hey, Matt, following up on snarky Bill Huber. I know he didn't get a ton of 11 on 11 reps, but it looked like you might have something in Kurt Benkert. I'm not a QB guru like you are. What do you think you might have there?
Yeah, I know Kurt's, had a couple years in the league now in Atlanta, and he can really throw the football, but it's going to come down again to being able to do that in the preseason games to really show us what he can do and what he's capable of. But love the guy. He's just been a sponge in that room. Always asks great questions, and I think that he definitely has a chance to show what he can do this preseason.